Well, welcome to the Black Madonna Speaks with me, your host, Stephanie Georgiev. I'm also the author of the Black Madonna Mysterious Soul Companion, and I will give you lots of details on how you too can become a proud owner of this, in my opinion, really wonderful, wonderful journey with the Black Madonna. And also check out the description below this video. I'll give you a direct link on how you can order that in every manner possible. So at the time of the recording of this video, we're in the beginning of Advent. And I must say that Advent is one of my favorite seasons. And the topic is purposeful because I want you to think about darkness just a little bit differently. We often hear, the black soul and dark night of the whatever, and he's, journey into darkness is always associated with something negative. But what I would like to offer is that the descent into darkness has a different quality that we can actually embrace. And as in the Northern Hemisphere, our nights are long and dark, I think it's a wonderful time to contemplate actually the goodness of darkness. Now, this is a modern rendition of the Virgin of Guadalupe, the Spanish, actually the Mexican Virgin of Guadalupe. And what I love about this image is that she's on her knees, and if you can see in this picture, which you can't see very well in the original, you can see just the tails of the belt around her waist. It's a black sash. And in Aztec tradition, which is quite ancient, when a woman was pregnant, she wore a black sash around her waist to signify that she was pregnant. And I love this image because she is a pregnant image. She's a pregnant virgin, but I love the glow coming from her womb, and that the signal of new life for the Aztecs was black. And I think that's very profound. Now, when I was young, and even up till now, Advent really is one of my favorite seasons of the liturgical year. And mainly because I just find these days leading up to Christmas, and especially if you can pull your way away from the hysteria of the merchandising of the holiday. If you can pull yourself away from this, it's absolutely a wonderful time. And Advent is supposed to be a time of reflection, of quiet, of anticipation, and also endurance. It's a time of endurance. And I do think that the secularization of Christmas does embrace that aspect of Christmas. But I don't think it's what they intended. But Advent really is a time of endurance, because the initiates and the people of the day really had been waiting a very long time for the Messiah under incredible odds. And so Advent is a reflection on that, and even the arduous journey of Joseph and Mary during this time, the descent into unknowing, the violation of norms, the upending of institutions, the uncertainty of the times. And yet they said yes. They said yes, and they went through. So for me, Advent means Advent festivals. And when I was young, we would make these Advent wreaths at our Advent festivals, and we would take them home. And then every week we would light another candle. And in my family, what we used to do was we would light the candle before supper. I grew up in the generation where we had supper as a family instead of staring at the TV in shifts. But when I was young, my dad would come home from work, and we would sit down, and we usually said prayers, and we ate dinner. And during Advent, we would go to the Advent wreath, light a candle, and sing Christmas carols. And this is just one of the sweetest memories that I have of this season. And I almost dreaded Christmas because it meant this beautiful, beautiful time of hope and anticipation was over. And, in most traditions, when Christmas is over, it's just such a letdown. And I'll be doing some programming in the coming weeks for a practice that I've been doing for basically the last 20 years on what's called the Holy Nights. And it's this beautiful, really prolongation of the Christmas mystery for the 12 days after Christmas. And so I'll be doing some special programming for that. But I really love that because all this wonderful preparation and anticipation and boom, Christmas and it's over. But then with the Holy Nights, we get to kind of relish in the resonance of all that beauty. And also it's a time of, in my opinion, celebrating the generative aspects of darkness. So something we need to keep in mind as we delve into these images is a quote by Rudolf Steiner. And it, to me, encompasses the purpose of art. And he says that art is a method by which the spiritual world speaks to humanity. So whenever we see an artistic image, we need to think to ourselves, what is it that that image is trying to convey? And with the Madonna in particular, the Madonna is an artistic gesture, is symbolic of the human soul. Not only the individual soul, but the collective soul of humanity. And so what I like to tell people is that I'm a literal mystic, which means, yes, I truly believe what the Bible says is literal, but I believe it's literal in a mystical sense. And yes, there was a woman called Mary who conceived and bore a son, in a manger in Bethlehem. I believe that literally happened. But the metaphorical, symbolic, and mystical translation of that is quite profound. And what I see when I see a Madonna, such as this beautiful image here, is it's really my soul and the soul of humanity. Now, when we see a quote-unquote Black Madonna, does that mean it's an evil Madonna? It's something to be feared? No. I think the color black is very significant. And the reason I think this is because I know from my studies that black is the color of cosmic will, and cosmic will transforming into human will. And to me, this is what I really relish in during these long, dark nights of Advent. Advent is also a time to remember our cosmic origins. And this image is an icon by Hildegard of Bingen. And I just love this icon. In fact, I have one in my bedroom. I have a little laminated photocopy that I made, and I just literally take it with me all over the planet. I really do. And what I love about this, and I don't know how well you can see the image, but on the bottom of the image is a pregnant woman, and you can see in her womb there's a little baby, and there's all these people standing around with these little trays, and the trays are actually of cheese. Now, I'm a cheese addict, so that even endears me to this picture more. But cheese is the symbol of the transformation of the earth. Okay, that's really what that means. And then you see this kind of bubble thing above everybody in the starry night, which I think is beautiful. And it's a square, so it's a four-sided figure, and it's divided into three parts, and those are little eyes in there, like little eyes, your eye, blinking your eyes. And then there's this thread that goes from the baby up to that image. Well, what that image symbolizes is the Trinity. So it's the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. So it's the Holy Trinity. And the square is the symbol of the earth. So, and then we see this going into the baby. And this shows the union of heaven and earth, this mystical origin of the union of heaven and earth with the transforming cheese all the way down to the womb of the woman. And so when we think of cosmic origins, yes, we're born of a woman. We're all born of a woman. You know, in the future, I'm not so sure about that, but right now, most of us have to journey through a woman in order to be born. And that is this incredible meeting of heaven and earth, and that we have the cosmos within us. And this is such an amazing concept. This is also another way to image our cosmic origins. I really love this veil painting, in that we actually come from the stars. And not only do we have this imagery through art and through these icons, but science is now telling us that our understanding of cosmology, this original bursting forth, you know, this nebula explosion that birthed our sun and our planets and our stars and all the elements of the cosmos, we have actual stardust in our body. All of the elements that we have in our body are the same elements of the stars. So we now have physical proof of this incredible imagery. And it means that when we look out into the cosmos, we're actually looking to aspects of ourselves. Now, one of my favorite verses, and you hear me talk about this over and over, and I think it's one of the underreported verses in all of the Bible. It says, "I will give you the treasures of darkness and the hidden riches of secret places." And this is from the book of Isaiah. And the book of Isaiah is a book of prophecy, and particularly a lot of prophecy regarding the coming of the Messiah. And we often hear, negative connotations with the word darkness and dark and black. In fact, if you look in your Bible concordance under dark or darkness, it's not always very pleasant. But there's this one verse, and this is the one I cling to. And I want to talk about what I think this verse is talking about. You also hear me talk endlessly about the Knights Templar, and they're, in my opinion, quite misunderstood. And I'm not going to defend everything they did, because I don't think everything they did was really great. But one of their best things that they did was that they brought the Black Madonnas from the Holy Land and Africa, and they put them all along the Camino de Santiago de Compostela. And a quick aside, if you want to come and look at some of these amazing Madonnas, these Black Madonnas on the Camino de Santiago de Compostela, I'm leading a tour. Will be June, July, a little bit of June, but June, July, August, and part of September. And you can come for a bit of it, or the whole thing if you want, or you can join me via the internet. So we have ways to do this for everybody. So back to the Knights Templar. They were the ones that placed these Black Madonnas all along the Camino de Santiago. Now, through my studies of the Black Madonna, through historical research, as well as the writings and speakings of Rudolf Steiner, the Austrian philosopher who founded anthroposophy, we know that the Templars had many different things that they were trying to do. But we also know that they had these 3 secrets that were involved in their mission. And it's way beyond me to talk about all the secrets here. I hope to talk about some of the secrets later, and particularly I will be talking about these when I journey through the Camino. So if you want to really learn it all, you should come along either in person or online. But one of their secrets was the secret of darkness. And so in order for me to really cover this, I'm going to read a quote from a lecture that Rudolf Steiner gave on the Knights Templar, and this is dated October 2nd, 1916. And it's quite a lengthy quote, so I'm going to give you a beautiful image to look at while we're listening to this quote, and we'll talk about it a little bit later. So I just want you to image this, which I just love this image. And here's the quote. For we human beings, as we live on earth, it is only in our physical body that we have a life connected with the earth. The body that is woven of light and sound and life, and is within this physical body, the so-called ether body, partakes not only in the life of the earth, but in the life of the cosmos. And when a human soul descends from the spiritual worlds to enter existence through birth, then already before the event, forces are directed in the cosmos in a right way for the building up of the ether organism of the human being, even as the physical body of man is built up from the physical forces and physical substances of earth. And I'm going to skim over part of it. And the quote goes on, human beings here on earth only provide the opportunity for something spiritual to come down to them. What a human being can do as a part consists solely in this. He can make ready the place by which the means of an ether body that is being prepared from out of the far spaces of the cosmos may be able to sink down to earth. This ether organism of the human being is just as much of an organized entity as is the physical organism. The physical organism for spiritual vision, this physical organism is shone through and glowed by the ether organism. The physical organism breathes in air and breathes out air. The ether body breathes in light, uses up the light and changes it into darkness, and can then receive into this darkness the sound of the worlds that lives in harmony of the spheres. This ether body can then receive into it the impulses of life. And while the ether body prepares the light for darkness and thereby carries out the inner work of breathing, it lives in that it receives the sound of the worlds and changes the sound of the worlds into the life of the world. And this is the end of this part of the quote. So our etheric body is the encasement for the word, the logos, the harmony of the spheres. Our etheric body is the chalice for the logos, basically so that Christ has a place to rest. So let that quote resonate for a bit, and that consider that the original pilgrims who went to Chartres in medieval times, they would enter into the crypt. And also remember that Chartres was the home of a Templar mystery school. Okay, so back before that big quote, remember I was talking about the Knights Templar and how they had these 3 secrets. And the only secret we're going to talk about now, just for time, is the secrets of darkness. And so pilgrims would come to Chartres Cathedral, mystery school, Templars, 3 Black Madonnas there, labyrinth. The pilgrims would go into the crypt. They would pray and sing all night long. And at dawn, the pilgrims would sing and proceed into the main sanctuary. Now, the sanctuary of Chartres is a celebration of light and color with stained glass windows that gleam in every color of the rainbow. And so we can see that this mystery of secret of darkness was really being embodied through this medieval ritual. And in my opinion, it was a way of remembering cosmic origins. Now I want to finish up this quote by Steiner on the Templars, quote, "But now what we receive in this way as our ether body comes down to us from the wide spaces of the cosmos. It comes at certain times from the spaces of the cosmos. The mystery of the indrawing of the human ether body on the paths of light and on the paths of sound, of the harmony of the spheres, it will remain a mystery for quite a while," unquote. We need to understand that part of understanding this mystery of darkness is that we come from the cosmos, that we have cosmic origins. And these are the treasures of darkness that we hear about in those in that verse of Isaiah, that we really have the stuff of stars in our bodies. And so this is what I really would like for you to concentrate on during Advent, that the treasures of darkness and the hidden treasures of the cosmos are really within. And when we wake up to those treasures, we will learn how to really co-create a new cosmos. So what is the descent into darkness? I really love this picture. It's the earth rising from the moon. The descent into darkness for me is to really recognize that we are part of the cosmic community and that we are deeply loved. And we're also learning through historical research and also the research of Rudolf Steiner that the age of the Black Madonnas was the preparation for our age now. And part of this preparation is understanding that the cosmos of wisdom is coming to an end in order to make way for a cosmos of love. The journey of Advent is one of endurance, of hope, of faith, and anticipation. But the journey of Advent also is one of great love. And it's a journey towards a new cosmos of love. This is the Heart Galaxy. It's called the Heart Nebula, and that actually is the color. That's not a color-enhanced photograph. And to me, this is a beautiful image of what is to come, this heart-shaped universe. Advent is a time of deep intimacy. There's no greater intimacy than that between a mother and a child. There just isn't. And through Advent, this is the anticipation of the coming of divinity to be deeply intimate with humanity. So I really hope that during this season of darkness, you realize that you are a vessel, that your cosmic origins happen every second of every day as your ether body brings in this light from the universe, and your ether body breathes out darkness so that the harmony of the spheres and the logos can actually have a place to reside. And that this truly is your home and your cousins. If you would like to join me on the If you would like to join me on the journey of the soul with the Black Madonna Pilgrimage in 2019, please do so. I have links below in the description on how you can do that. I would also be so honored if you would consider to be a patron for this channel. We will start in January on special patron-only benefits. I'll do patron-only live streams, and we'll explore any topic your little heart desires. You'll also get a monthly profile of a specific Black Madonna and a patron-only podcasts. These are not being released to the public, so only you will have a copy of that. If you would like a copy of the Black Madonna Mysterious Soul Companion, there's links below on how to do that. It's available through everything you can possibly imagine. It's also available through the Book Depository. Please subscribe to this channel, like the Heart of the Black Madonna on Facebook, and follow me on Twitter at BLMadonna. And blessings on your journey. Blessed Advent.